go live right away?
Oh, really quickly, yeah.
Well.
Hey, you guys. David here. As you know, at Bali and Beyond, and I have a special guest today. I'm excited to have Jeff, my buddy Jeff Lawrence. And Jeff and I go back to about 12 years. We're just talking 2006 that Jeff joined our men's group in 2006. And I was, I think I just finished up as DC.
I think the DC back then was Rogers.
He came in after me.
He came in after you, but I don't think he was there too long, a year or two.
No.
Yeah.
I think 4.5 months.
Oh, well, I came in right at the end, so yeah. What do I know? I was new.
So we're going to talk a bit about our men's group because Jeff Lawrence came into our men's group and actually went through tons and tons of the leadership roles and got to be chairman of the board of our international organization in 12 years.
Yeah.
10 or 12 years.
Yeah, about 10 years, yeah.
Yeah. And which
baptism
means,
by fire.
Which means he doesn't have a personal life.
Yeah. Well, anybody who follows me on Facebook knows that's not true.
And
I have a little bit of a personal life.
A little bit of a personal life. But he's committed to service of community.
Absolutely.
And so tell us about, it's interesting. Our men's organization, our men's group is because the idea of confidentiality is what makes it a safe place for men to go to and really drop their burdens. To a certain degree, we've never kind of come out with, it's all been by invitation and been, you couldn't find us unless you knew somebody. And that's changing.
Yeah, it is.
Big time.
And it's, it's been changing a lot over the last few years. I remember, terrible with dates, but probably about 4 years ago. Remember I did that speaking in the park? Remember that? That was about 4 or 5 years ago. And we announced on Facebook and we created an event and we were going to go do this debate in downtown Calgary, and this is really about men's teams and why men need a confidential space to share and be at one with each other. And it went so crazy. I mean, we had protesters showing up. We had death threats. I mean, it was out of control. Like, why do men need to gather? Why should they meet? It was unbelievable. We had bloggers from all over the United States like phoning in saying, how terrible of men we were. And it was like, you don't even know who we are. I just want to get together and see if there's some men like us that want to experience some mentoring and share, some of our wins and losses and grow as men. And it was crazy.
I remember the first time I went to an open house. It was April 1999.
So April 19th.
April 1999. There was nines in it.
1999.
There was
a lot of nines.
Yeah, a lot of nines. And I remember I didn't want to go with the men who had invited me because I thought if these guys were against something, I didn't want to be there. I had no idea, and that's the first place my mind went was, so what are they? Are they there roasting their, are they there with their anger for their women or whatever? So I had that, and I got there and realized that what the commitment was that we were all there committed to each other's success.
Right.
In all areas of our life.
Yeah, helping men win in their life, no matter whatever that looks like to them.
Be great dads, great husbands, right?
Yeah,
and a great father or great sons, and I remember being there that night, and it was an open house, and they were actually promoting the men's weekend, right?
Yeah,
and
I'm sure they were back in 1999.
And Morris was there. There was a whole bunch of guys there, and I said, "Fellas, I'm in. Shut up. Where's the paperwork?"
Yeah, it's funny because the organization, I remember when I first came out, and I think it was like 2006 or something, and I came to a fire, and it was the night before a bunch of men were going to California for a big weekend. I think they were leaving like the next, or within 2 days or 3 days or something, and I went out there not expecting, what it was going to be about, and they're not great salesmen because they had the order right away, but they kept trying to sell me. I'm like, dude, all you can do now is lose the order. Like, I'm already in. Like, I like what you're doing. I like the honesty, and it was amazing to watch, men talk to each other this way. because in my past experience in business, and I'd been fairly successful most of my life in industry, and I just got back from Texas. I'd lived down there for 6 years, and I'd just never seen men speak to each other that way, so directly and so authentically, without hiding, with no ulterior motives, and not caring how it lands. They wanted to give them their truth, and men were hearing it and not fighting back and not arguing about it. They're just hearing it. It was mind blowing,
wasn't it?
Like in the first hour of being there, it's like, I really don't know what this is about, but I want more of it.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was like. For me, it was, we played a game.
Yeah, the game was big.
Yeah,
that changed. That was big for me too.
We played a game.
Yeah.
So here's a bunch of men. It's April or late April, early May, and a bunch of men in the field, and half of them took their shirts off with shirts and skins.
It's funny. That's where I was going to go too.
Yeah, and
it's shocking the first time you did.
I know, and I was like, holy shit! I hadn't played a game in years. Not like that.
Yeah. My meeting was in July, so it was a little warmer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a game of well, it was soccer, but there was like 3 soccer balls and a football, and there was like, I don't know, 40 men, 50 men in a field, half of them with their shirts off. And of course, my first day, take your shirt off. I'm like, I don't know if I want to take my shirt off with a bunch of men I haven't ever met. But I went out there, and then within seconds, you just felt comfortable. You felt at home, and the competitive juices were unbelievable.
I
You
know.
got 70-year-old men out there like acting like 20-year-olds, and
I
you
know.
got 20-year-olds acting like 70. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun, and I've always played against men. I've always been in competition with men for everything, for jobs, for women, for success, just everything, like since high school.
Yeah.
And I probably hadn't played a game of organized sports like on a team since high school.
Yeah.
So it'd been a long time. And it
me
was
too,
just
if I'd have gone to high
so
school.
cool. If you were, right? Yeah, it was. Because I think I was already in before the game, but once we played that game, it was like, and it was like full contact soccer. First of all, and it was like people were getting hurt. And we're like, we got to. Now that I'm the chairman, by the way, we don't condone that.
Yeah.
but back then, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, we were rough.
I don't know how we all survived.
Well,
to be honest.
we didn't. I had broken bones.
Yeah.
Literally, I have had broken bones playing games with these guys, so what Jeff has done since 2006, when you came into our group, to become the at that time Calgary was kind of just the international group, which was called MDI.
Yeah, Mentor, Discover, Inspire.
Mentor, Discover, Inspire, and we had been kind of standalone for a long time, and I was just finished my role as leadership, and through that time, with Patterson and Jamala and a bunch of guys had gotten us really connected with Mentor, Discover, Inspire, and so that was when we became part of that group. So,
right.
and they were happy to have us. We had a reputation, and we brought a lot of energy, and so we became part of that group then. And then, not that many years later, one of our men became the chairman of the board of that organization, which has around 1,000 men internationally. Right now, is that what we're at?
Yeah, a little less than that. I mean, we're kind of moving backwards a little bit to bring forward. We've got a lot of things in the go, but yeah, our goal is to be 5,000 men over the next 5 years. So
nice.
We've sometimes you got to drop back a little bit and to go forward, and that's sort of what we're doing right now, and instituting all the pieces that you need in the background in order to grow at that kind of a rate. A lot of training.
Well, we're
all
seeing
that. Kind of
that.
stuff.
Like
yeah.
our group here is growing like crazy.
Yeah, this is a perfect example here in Calgary.
And here we're putting new men come in, and we onboard them, and it takes a process.
Yeah.
And because it's not just a loose meeting with a bunch of guys at the pub. We're there. We get together once a week. I get together with my team once a week with intent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's totally different than hanging out with your friends. I mean,
Yeah.
some men do turn into friends, and there's some friendships. I value your friendship, but the reality is that they're teammates, right? They're not your friends. Friends really have one job, right? Is to tell you you're doing a great job, whether you are or you aren't, just to kind of pump you up and make you feel good, and to keep that friendship alive. Teammates is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Teammates are there to make sure that they tell you what you need to hear, even if you don't want to hear it.
So when Jeff fucks up, I get to tell him.
Are you allowed to say that?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
this isn't cable. Yeah, perfect.
I don't say it a lot, but when you do,
Yeah,
you know, and you and both ways, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Like
know.
when I'm having a shit day, you know, when maybe I'm all tied up with fear, or you know, I think the world's collapsing, and I call Jeff, and he says, you know, quit being an asshole, you know, and you know, like it's not going to get off of that ledge.
I mean, you know, and you know, we're probably the two that probably shouldn't be doing this thing, because the truth is, you and I have been talking a ton lately. You know, with your businesses and my stuff going on in my life as well. Like we check in a lot, I mean, and that's good. I mean, it just keeps us both on the straight and narrow, and keeps us focused. And you know, it's not like one of us is giving the other one advice. That's part of it too, right? You're calling in saying, look, this is where I'm at, and I just need to vent, and I need to get this off my chest, and I know you're going to listen and not judge me. So, you know, I just shut up and let you tell me what's going on for you. And at the end, I might ask a couple questions, but you already know what you got to do. You just need somebody else to hear it and to bounce it off. And then by the time you're finished telling me and spewing, you know, what's going on for you, you already know the answer. I don't have to. I feel great because because you're going off in a great direction, but it really wasn't me. Just a sounding board and someone who won't let you tell me something that's just crap. You got to tell me the truth.
Yeah, we call it active listening.
Yeah.
And we actually, in the earlier days, we gave a lot of advice, and it's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, we're certainly not counselors, but you know, many people have probably heard that, you know, the best teacher is failure, and God, I mean, I've failed a lot. I mean, I've been very successful, but I failed a lot too. And you know, even when you're a kid, right, and you're a little boy, and you go up to the stove and you put your finger on the stove and you burn your finger, it's like, oh, that hurt. And you got to do it one more time just to make sure, and then you realize, okay, I don't do that again. But wouldn't it be cool if you could learn to not do some mistakes because someone else did it?
Yeah.
You know, and if I truly had a teammate that I trusted and believed in, and he's already taught, don't touch that stove. Last time I did it, it hurt. You might only do it once instead of twice then. You know, but the truth is you got a better opportunity of success in your life if you hear from other people's successes and failures, and maybe learn from their failures instead of having to go through it yourself.
Well, that's true. And I look at, because I've been on team for 20 years, and things have shifted for me. I mean, I still, because I'm on the front line of life, I'm not retired. I'm on the front line of life. I still need and use my team, but I'm also finding myself, because of my experience and my age, and as having more to give, more, and you know, and I suspect that you feel the same way. You're not my age, but
no, I certainly haven't got the full 20 years in, that's for sure. But you know, part of when you step into different leadership roles, as you know, the amount that you're submerged in all the activities and all the learnings and all the trainings and the great men that you get to butt up against with and talk to and learn from. I mean, you're getting a crash course. I mean, in 12 years of leadership, you're getting 20 years of team. Yeah. You know, easy, maybe more. So.
Who was it used to say, I think it was Howard LaGuardia used to say, that being DC was the equivalent of an MBA. You know, a 2-year DC job, which is the division coordinator. His job is like, it's like a, you know, it's an MBA on the fly.
It is, yeah. It's a working man's MBA. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you know, it's funny, when I first took the job, jumping around here a little bit, when I first took the job as a board, part of the reason you take these different roles is because you want to grow as a human being yourself, and it, you know, and it can help you in all aspects of your life, whether it's just your personal life, but also in your business life too. I run other companies and things like that, and I'd never had any board experience, and I needed to actually create a board for my own company. And I had the opportunity to join the board of MDI, and it's what a great safe place to learn something, because if we screw up, we're not going to lose our marriage, we're not going to lose our job, we're not going to but you can fail in a safe place. You don't want to fail, but it's possible that you can make some mistakes and the world isn't going to come to an end. However, I wanted to learn some board experience, so I went in with very little board experience and did a year or so as a vice chairman before I took on the chairman's role. And I've learned so much about being on a board, and now I'm on 3 boards. So it's crazy. I mean, you put it out there to the universe, and you hold it there, and it just materializes.
Nice.
I don't know how it works. I just don't question. I'm just grateful.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
just grateful.
That's awesome. I think, like we have right now in our group, there's about 90 men in our local division, isn't there?
Yeah, it's close to that. Yeah, I'm not sure their exact number, but yeah.
And our DC, our division coordinator, Eric Mortimer, who we both have known for many years and love, who's done an amazing job.
It's fantastic.
And
really.
like he's really took this thing from the last DC, who was such a flunky.
Please.
That was me. And really, made his list of what he wanted to have done, and he read it to us last night, his results list, and he nailed it. He has.
I mean, I knew how successful he was, because of course, I'm spending a lot of time watching numbers and seeing things from the outside, and of course I live and I'm here as well, but I've seen how successful he's been in almost every area that you could measure. But for him to read off that list of, I don't know how many there was, 7 or 8 items that he wrote 2 years ago, and that every single one of them, including something that was so outrageous, that 100 men at a meeting, when he took over 2 years ago, we were lucky to get 20 or 30 men out at a meeting. And he made all of those things happen, including 100 men at one meeting. And once he was done, I knew where this was going. We didn't really know he was saying that
he
he's
slid
done.
that in on us.
It's just like, wait a minute, he's finished the CPR. He must be done.
Yeah.
So it's time for new leadership.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing that's exciting and fun about it, is that we don't put people in places and in jobs here because you're already great at it. We put you in these jobs so you become great at it, and then take that into your life.
Yeah.
Now, Mortimer was a very skilled individual to begin with, but it was still questionable whether he was the right man for that job. He wasn't the only one in the running, but the way that he took the ball and ran with it, wow.
He's methodical, isn't he?
Yeah.
He really
It's been a tough
is.
act to follow.
He is.
Yeah.
So I think that men should be fighting for that job, because it's such an opportunity to grow and learn.
Right.
It just, their cup will be full always. And there's such an opportunity to learn how to work with the men, how to carry the vision, how to sell the vision. It really is. I got to do it twice.
He did so good the first time, they had to make him do it a second time. You might have to be doing it a third time, who knows? I did it once, and that was probably good for me, but I did it for 3 years, so it's like 1.5.
Yeah. My first time I was a little over 30 months. And like 2.5 years plus a bit, and then the second time for 1 year almost to the day.
Yeah.
And they had to kick me off the chair, but still.
Well, anyway, I would love to see people fighting for a job, because that means as an organization, people get it. And I think, unfortunately, there's probably still a part of our organization where it comes to all leadership roles, not just in Calgary, not just here, but all of our leadership roles across our organization. Men still look at how hard a lot of the leaders work, the amount of hours that you put into volunteering, and they say, wow, I can't commit that many hours. And they're scared to step into that position.
But they don't know what the pay is.
Right, that's exactly it. That's the part we've not done a great job of, is explaining what the payoff is.
Yeah, the pay is like, it's executive pay.
Yeah, with no cash. Just to be clear, no cash.
No cash.
But like you said, it's like getting an MBA, a crash course, and the relationships that you build, the contacts. I mean, quite literally at this point in my life, and I'm only 52, so I've got a long way to go. Knock on some wood. Knock on these beautiful chairs that he's selling.
You could be halfway.
Yeah, I could be halfway. Yeah, with new technology, sure.
Yeah.
But I have men that I know all over North America. I mean, even really, I got men in Vietnam. I mean, there's men that I know everywhere that are part of this organization that know me, and I know them. And the cool part is, it's like, we may not be like friends, but we have this trust bond because we're part of the same organization that fosters that. But I could pick up a phone at any moment and drive into California, pick up a phone and have 10 different men say, come and stay at my home.
Yeah.
Now, probably because it's me, I probably wouldn't do that, but I got to get over myself, because you know what, that would be great, and I would love to see these men, and I know that one of these days I'm going to do it, just go on a tour.
We have a member, Randall Berlin, and Randall, the other day,
I know Randall.
yeah, we love Randall. Randall, the other day, he said 2 things are absolutely important in a man's life, and in everybody's life, a woman's life as well, is purpose and connection or belonging. So what I see in the community is a lot of men that don't have a connection. You know, they have a connection at work, and they have a connection with their family.
Right.
They don't have a somewhere, and maybe they have a sports team or something, but it's not like this where we have a tribe. I still call it a tribe.
I know, because you're old.
Yeah, we have a tribe.
Old school.
A tribe that looks after each other. You know,
Right.
When often if there's a man missing, I say, where the hell is so and so? You know, if he's not at the fire. You know, and I'm checking to see what's happening, or who knows where he is.
Yeah, and it's very unusual if nobody in one of our circles knows where that man is.
Yeah.
Somebody knows, because we're all in relationship with each other, not only at the meetings but in between meetings.
Yeah.
So somebody knows where he is.
6 hours, 6 days, 21 hours,
Something like that
between the fires. Because usually we're 3 hours often outdoors.
Yes, often outdoors. Yeah.
Often outdoors. So that's what Jeff and I do. But I just want to mention that Jeff's involved in a ton of other stuff that I know about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talking about business or charity?
Charity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good time to talk about maybe a couple of things, the stuff you do around Stampede and the feeding families and.
Yeah, wow. Well, you know, obviously, I consider a lot of the men's work that we do, you know, is more for me. Although we give a lot to the others, and we certainly do that with the leadership roles we take on. But really, there's a payoff for me. So
sure,
so
it's community
that's
service.
Still community service, but I get a lot from it, and then like that, I take it into the Brakeman Foundation for one. So I'm a member of the Brakeman Foundation, and we've got a small group, about 10 or 12 men and women, and we what we started actually is we bought chuck wagons for the Calgary Stampede. So we'd buy a Rangeland Derby chuck wagon team, and then we'd syndicate it into 10 nights, and then we would sell off each night to a different company. So a company would buy one night of the chuck wagon. I mean, it's very expensive to run a chuck wagon for the whole Stampede. Not very many companies, you know, can do that, but one night's a little bit more manageable. We take all the profits that we make from the syndication of the chuck wagon, and we turn it into our charity called Zero Hungry Kids. So we've basically got a mandate to provide nourishment to kids that come to school with no lunches. The teachers know who they are. We don't pick them. The school doesn't pick them. The teachers do. You know, the first day the kid comes to school and he has no lunch, you know, he's got a good excuse. The second day he's got another excuse. Third day he's on the list. And we're not judging, and we don't care why. It's not a child's decision to come to school with no lunch, and we don't care or judge why that is in their home. We just want to make sure they're nourished. So, from kindergarten to grade 6 is our sweet spot. And last year we had 6 chuck wagons, so that's 60 nights we sold, and we sold out. Put on a tremendous party for the guests that come. We have between 200 and 300 people a day at our party. Every single day is like their day 1. It's maybe my day 6 or day 7. So it turns into 10, 11 days of extreme fun. I have a motorhome, so I live right on the grounds like a carny. And in fact, most of us do that are part of the Brakeman, and we're there every day, start at noon and go till about 2 in the morning every single day, and host a huge party, and we make a lot of money for them. We do other things for the Brakeman. We sell it. We sat around one day drinking wine, saying, how can we have a funding mechanism that could go all year round? And we're just drinking wine, and all of a sudden we were with one of the wine reps. He goes, why don't we brand label our own wine? So we started doing that. We became that importer's #1 client. We did 700 cases of wine in the last year and a half. And now we're at a point where our wine is actually making more money than the Stampede.
No way!
And 100% of the money goes to feeding kids. Not one of us gets paid. And so it's turned into one of those things where I always say, I've actually, you'll see me sometimes at a co-op, because the co-op carries our wine. And it's called Carita, which is Italian, it's charity in Italian. And so I go there sometimes and do the pouring. So I'm that guy sometimes trying to pour you wine as you're going through the liquor store. But I'll tell the story.
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
pass.
Yeah, I know you'll pass. But my story is always this. So especially with the women, they love this joke. I said, so, you know, at 10 o'clock at night when you're grading papers, I was talking to a teacher this time, but when you're grading papers at 10 o'clock in the morning drinking wine, you can actually drink wine for the children instead of because of them. And they always think that's hilarious. But But the truth is, yeah, I mean, that's a big part of the charity work that we do through the Brakeman Foundation, the Zero Hungry Kids.
Nice.
It's a big part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, I got the Airdrie Dads stuff that we do.
Let's hope you talk about that.
Guys, we got 3,600 men now on a Facebook page. I mean, it's unbelievable, really. All fathers from the Airdrie and sort of surrounding areas. I think there's a few guys that have slipped under the wire that used to be in Airdrie, now live in Calgary. But the whole premise of the page is sort of like our men's group in a way. We want to be able to pass information and wisdom and help from one man to the other. Fathers, a lot of young fathers. Airdrie's got a lot of young families. So, how do you change the air filter on your furnace? Well, for us old guys, I mean, we know, but a lot of men don't. The way that a lot of men are brought up without fathers, there's not a lot of wisdom being passed from one man to the other. So this site is for that. Of course, it's also, where's the best Chinese food and, so some other real simple things. But the big part of what we've been doing too of late is creating these different charity events. With 3,600 men on our website, we do our Airdrie Dad golf tournament. We sell out our golf tournament in literally hours, and it's sold out. And now a waiting list, like you can't get in. Like we really should be doing 2 tournaments, but it's a lot of effort to put it together, and we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars on a Facebook page in the last 3 or 4 years.
And
where
does that dough go?
All goes back into local charities. 100%
Airdrie?
of it, yeah, in
Wow.
Airdrie, yeah. And I'm also, of course, part of the 100 Men That Give a Damn. I'm part of that organization, which is also really fun. We all put together. We get together once every quarter, and there's 100 men in the room that have all donated $100. So it's not a lot, but when you put it all together, it's $10,000. So you have charities, they have to be a registered charity, pitch you, kind of like the Dragon's Den. There's 3 different charities that pitch you, and then you vote on it, and one charity walks out with $10,000.
Nice.
So, I mean, and again, local charities. So, yeah, it's been, it's funny. I think it probably, if I include the men's organization that we belong to, plus all the charity work, I swear 40-50% of my life is working in the charity sort of side. And okay,
yeah,
I still get my job done.
Yeah.
We still run companies. I still got all that going on, and I'm able to do this, and it's just so gratifying. You feel so full from it all.
When I'm in a recovery program, and what's required in that recovery program is what we call a spiritual experience,
right?
To recover, right? And the spiritual experience, as I see it, is a psychic change from being a taker to being a giver.
Right.
So we go from continually thinking about ourselves to how can I serve my neighbor? How can I look after, the new guy that's coming in? So our context, our complete life change is a contextual one,
right.
A psychic change, and you've got that.
So what step am I on then?
That's the 12th step.
That's the 12th.
Your life is committed.
So I jump right all the way.
Committed to helping others. No, I mean maybe you've got some things to deal with. But we'll talk about that another time.
It's a whole other program.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The service work you do is a great example. And
you.
I've watched you over all these years, and that's
I wasn't this way before our men's organization. I mean, I always cared and whatnot. I always had that deep care for others, but I didn't really get that sort of spiritual side, if you want to call it that, the giving back side, until I really got into the men's organization, and then I kind of realized how much I get from giving.
Yeah.
That I just kept giving and giving.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is awesome. Balance is key too. And I've been asked many times, like, well, what do you do for fun, or what's your social, all that kind of stuff. Sure.
You snowmobile?
I do snowmobile, I ski, golf, all those things.
Yeah.
And the charity stuff. Yeah, and then all the charity stuff that I do. I mean, there's nothing I do that we don't have fun at. Like the Brakeman's a hell of a lot of fun. I mean, it's a great place to.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
10 days at
10
the
days of
Stampede.
Stampede, living like a carny.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a lot of work too. But it's super gratifying, and you
Yeah.
have fun, right? And the Airdrie Men, the Give a Damn. It's 100 men, local men. Half of them in the room. You get to meet the other half. It's just fun hanging out with all these men that we're trying to give back. And so, I don't know. I don't compartmentalize between work, fun, and charity. It's all me. So it's all the same.
I know you have a number of businesses, but there's one I want to ask about, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about, and that's your restaurant. you know, I was surprised when you went in the restaurant business. I think an opportunity came up. You found this great location. You like food. I know that. Maybe wine. And
probably more wine than food, really. But
and I've had dinner there.
Yeah.
And tell us about it.
Well, you know, it's funny because it really started with my wife because she's watched too many of those fixer-upper shows, and there was this old house in Airdrie. It was from 1905, oldest house in Airdrie, and you know, I think she just had to have it. So the original idea was we were going to buy it as a head office for my tobacco company called Cheap Smokes and Cigars. And we were going to have the franchise head office there, and we were going to be able to had a little kitchen in the bottom so we could maybe do some events and probably ask for forgiveness instead of permission and have a few cigars perhaps going on downstairs, but the head office would be upstairs. So we actually moved in and we bought the place and all good. Went to get our business license, and we wanted to get an event license on the main floor and an office sort of on the top, and we found out from the city of Airdrie that you can't do that. It has to be one or the other. You can't be office and restaurant. So my wife at the table just said, well, I guess we're going to open up a restaurant because if we change it to office, the value of the property goes down. Then I remember the girl, my wife telling me that the girl at the thing said, do you know anything about the restaurant business? She goes, well, I guess we'll learn. I'm like, that was probably the most expensive. I don't know how many words that is, but it was very expensive. But every one of them, very, I guess we'll learn. Well, you know, we've created something magical. There's no doubt. We had some great help along the way. We had a great chef in Michael Frayne, and you know, we've had Michael Noble doing some, you know, consulting and stuff with us, and friends of ours, and you know, we've turned it into you know, probably one of the top probably the top restaurant in Airdrie, or one of two anyway. Hayloft and ourselves are fantastic.
And
together.
what's it called again?
It's called First and Vine.
Nice.
Yeah. Last year on Open Table with 1,800 restaurants, we placed second best overall restaurant. So that was pretty high praise. Pretty high praise for it.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the economy's tough right now, and our restaurant is struggling. There's no doubt. I mean, if reviews were cash, we'd already be retired. But unfortunately, in the restaurant business, and it's not just us, but everybody's struggling. And so, yeah.
Well, I encourage everybody from Red Deer to Lethbridge.
Yeah. Lethbridge is a bit of a commute.
Okay.
How about Red Deer to Calgary?
Red Deer to Calgary.
Calgary's only 25 minutes away. It's a hell of a great thing. We've had some amazing friends from Calgary come out and
have dinner.
Have dinner, yeah. And it's been just a pleasure being there. You'll actually find me there now. Maybe this weekend I'll be there because our dishwasher just broke. So that's it.
Are you? You've knocked it down to 4 nights a week, or?
Yeah. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we do some private parties as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're on Open Table. So if you want to book a spot, go on Open Table, First and Vine, or firstandvine.ca.
Nice. I think that, you know, when Jeff has a small business. That's a small business.
That's a very small business
in Alberta, and we need to look after our small businesses. And I go to bed every night with that mantra: you need to look after our small businesses. But I'm thinking about us though, but yes, that's awesome. Anything else you want to share with us about life in men's group, or what your plans are? Or I know you get in shape. Did you lose 25 pounds this year already?
Yeah,
Wow.
27 actually.
Oh my gosh.
When you're counting pounds, you count every one. So 27, since January the 7th.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of life changing. I'm really focusing right now on my health side of it, and mental health and physical health, and you know, just eating right and being in the gym every day, and you know, just keeping myself really sharp. You know?
Hand me that book.
Oh yes, and this is a big part of it too. So I want to plug your reading sessions. I just finished the book. David gave me this book, and after beating me up for 2 weeks about wanting that I should read this, then it got to you have to read this, and then eventually I said, okay, fine. I just finished it, and it's a game changer.
A game changer.
Yeah.
So letting go. I read it every day, and I just did the reading earlier on. It was chapter 12 on love, unconditional love, and love, and it was amazing. So I was happy that Jeff read it because I think it was a game changer for me, and
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And he already gets the love part.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I think the piece that sticks out the most for me is that there's most of the stuff in there is somewhat, and for me, because we've been doing a lot of men's work for a long time, but for me, a lot of the stuff in there was not common sense, but I mean, I knew it. except that I didn't give myself permission to actually live it. And after reading the book, it's like, okay, well, it's not just David telling me. Now there's a PhD guy who's telling me.
Yeah.
David Hawkins.
Yeah, double
right?
PhD.
Double PhD.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's now I get to feel it and then experience and then just let it go. And my joke. I have this joke I used to tell all the time about. That I'm a recovering Catholic. All I have left is a guilt, and for people who know me, it's funny. But the reality is that guilt's killing me, and I didn't even realize it until I really read the book and how much guilt plays in all your decision making and everything else. And it's just time to let it go.
Yeah.
So the book it's a game changer.
Yeah. Thanks for reading that and sharing that, so. I think that's it. I'm so glad you came in. If men want to get in touch with our men's group, you can, contact Jeff or I directly, or we're going to put links on here of our local team, our local division, and also it's international, so we'll put the international stuff on it too.
Yeah.
And
mentordiscoverinspire.org.
Yeah, mental and discover.
Mentor. Mentordiscoverinspire.org.
Inspire.org. And check us out. And I bet that there's going to be ladies watch this. This happens so much. Many of our men come because their women send them, and their wives say, "Look, go find some men to play with," And
come play with us. It's fun.
It changes relationships, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does.
We help men become better husbands. So there you go. And I think that's I came because I wanted to be a better dad.
Yeah.
And I got so much. Okay, you guys, love you so much. Thanks for watching us, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Right.
Thanks. Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.